Hey guys, Dan here from Redstarborn, checking in with part 2 of our video journal, tracking the progress of this song creation exercise from first conception right through to finished product, hopefully. Where we left off last time was just essentially that first little verse riff. Into the pre-chorus. And you remember I was looking for a fill riff there to sort of stretch that out and give that its own identity. So just added a couple of simple little movements in there just to maintain that rhythmic integrity of that, but provide a little bit of texture, a couple of little backbeats, just a couple of little stabs on the E flat. Finishing with that little movement there, and I'll explain that in a second. Being a pre-chorus, I wanted it to have that pretty dirty, sort of fairly menacing feel about it, because then with the chorus, come up with a really simple classic progression. It's classic alt rock stuff. Hopefully we can put a really nice new original fresh twist on it melodically, to make it a worthwhile and not just a really derivative chorus. But it will also start on that D minor. So a couple of things to keep in mind there. I haven't quite finished with the melody on it yet, but I need to make sure that the melody is going to be significantly different from the verse melody. The chorus melody is different from the verse melody because the song's continuing into the chorus on the same root note that the verse does. So if it's not in a different harmonic zone melodically, probably a step up into a new starting point, it's likely to just sound monotonous. So a couple of things to work out yet still with the melody, but it feels really nice to come back into the chorus, back on that D, so that D minor. So that's where it's starting, is D to F, C, nothing fancy, back to the D. So D minor, F, C, really standard stuff. Second time through, instead of going back to the D, take the B flat, and then on the third line through, launch off the major chord, to the C, D flat, bit here I need to fill in a second, and then finishing off pretty much the same we started. D minor, that F, C, finishing on B flat, and then back to your main core verse, core riff in the verse. So that's really it. You'll probably see that I've linked those chords together with, so there's quite a bit of musical predictability about this chorus, which means that the vocals need to be super engaging, so you're not even really noticing what the accompaniment does. And that's what I wanted to do, was create almost an inconspicuous accompaniment. The verses, I want the instruments to really carry it, and the vocal line will itself be rhythmic to create that real groove there, that is the feature of the verse. But then when it gets to the chorus, I need the vocal melody. It's going to be really important. And I've got a few ideas, and we'll probably get to that next video, but that vocal melody to be really out and big, so that you're not listening to, oh, that chord progression, I've heard that before. Let's face it, a lot of chorusy chord progressions, even verse, if you look at the chords that have been used in the verse, they've been done before. It's about doing it in a way that's new and fresh. So that's where I'm going with that, with a few little sort of linked notes in between it, just to sort of move through what is essentially that D minor, the harmonic minor scale. with a couple of other little linked riffs in there. So I've and that's why out of the pre-chorus, I've plugged those two chords. I pinched those because I wrote the chorus, and then I went, that's really cool. Take those two chords and jam them into the back end of the pre-chorus to kind of tie the two together. So the whole lot together sounds so far like this. So you can see, and once I learn to play it properly, it'll be better as well, but you get the idea there. So now I've got a structure for my verse, I've got a structure for my chorus. You can see there's a couple of other little musical devices in there with extra leading chords and delayed bars and stuff like that. But overall, pretty happy with that. Playing along with that, this is sort of how it usually happens for me and for Maddie as well, is that melody tends to seep in because you hear little notes and harmonies and stuff popping out of that. It's, I don't know if that's normal, but that's kind of how it works for us. So there are strong melodic cues that come out of those chords that we're going to tap into to structure the melody. And I've got a few ideas. The working title of this song is now called Days of Letting Go, as in there are days for holding on to things and days to fight for things, and there are days for letting go. And the theme of the song will be these are the days of letting go. And I heard somebody say that somewhere or something similar to that, and I thought that's a really neat concept to play around with. Working on a few lyrics now, but I think that'll work with the feel of the song as well. Kind of a bit of dark and brooding, and then the release of that that chorus with the major chord on the third line and so on. So maybe you can hear that. But anyway, that's where we're up to at the moment. Next step is I'll get together with the other guys, probably Matt mainly, throw some drums down and see if we can lock in a bit of a the rhythmic side of this, work on tempo changes, so whether like there's clearly some halftime stuff in there, whereas like you might have heard in the pre-chorus, you've got that the double eighth rhythm, and then in the chorus it lends itself more to the quarter strikes. So bigger, fatter, heavier, slower, more firm rather than not the frantic. So there's a bit going on there. That's where we're up to at the moment. Like I said, we'll get together, maybe demo out a rough run through of that. I've got to work on the bridge and an intro and stuff like that as well. So when you come back, hopefully we'll have more of it. Probably have the song complete minus any sort of singing or melody, or we might actually have some of that as well. But I've got to go and write some lyrics as well. So yeah, that's where we're up to. I hope that was at all interesting or made any sort of sense. Feel free to click subscribe if you want the notification of when the next one comes up. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in.